Uh, Hello all. Now we'll discuss the evolution of the basic structure concept. In the previous class, we discussed what is basic structure and its features. Now we will discuss the various cases or the various judgments which led to the evolution of the concept called basic structure, right? So the first case in this aspect was Shankari Prasad case in 1951. Okay, so here the case is about the question whether fundamental rights can be amended by the Parliament under Article 368 came for consideration of the Supreme Court within a year of the Constitution coming into force. Right? In the Shankar Prasad case, the constitutional validity of the First Amendment Act 1951, right, which curtailed the right to property, was challenged. Okay, so let me explain. So we do know that India got independence in 1947, right? And of course, prior to the independence, there were different types of land holding systems in India, like Jamindari system, Raitwari system, etc. Okay, so because of that, hundreds of acres of land were controlled by few people, and most of the people in India were deprived of land. Therefore, after 1947, after getting independence, the then government had initiated land reforms. You know, the objective was to distribute the land among the people equally, right? So there was a hurdle to implement land reforms. What is that? Right to property was a fundamental right under Article 31. Okay, so by using that fundamental right, as fundamental rights are justiciable, by using that fundamental right, most of the jamindars or most of the landlords, they went to court to protect their lands from the government, so this led to the conflict between judiciary and parliament. Okay, so in few judgments, Supreme Court said that Parliament cannot take back the fundamental rights of the people. Therefore, such type of judgments had become a major hurdle for the implementation of the land reforms. Okay, so in order to overcome such type of judgments, Parliament had enacted amendments to the Constitution, which reduces the right to hold property. Okay, so in that aspect, in that scenario, the first Constitutional Amendment Act was enacted in 1951. Okay, so this first Constitutional Amendment Act, has inserted 9th schedule to the Constitution, as well as Article 31A to the Constitution, right? So in this way, Parliament has tried to implement the land reforms by abridging the then fundamental right called right to property. Okay, so this first Constitutional Amendment Act was challenged in the Supreme Court by Shankari Prasad. So that's what is called as Shankari Prasad case, right? And in this case, the Supreme Court ruled that the power of the Parliament to amend the Constitution under Article 368 also includes the power to amend fundamental rights. Okay, so the word law in Article 13 includes only ordinary laws. Therefore, the Parliament can abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights by enacting a Constitutional Amendment Act, and such a law will not be void under Article 13. Okay, so let me explain a few things about this. Article 13 of the Indian Constitution says that any law or an order or a bylaw or an executive act infringes the fundamental rights, then such orders or acts or laws will be declared as null and void or unconstitutional. Okay. So in Shankar Prasad case, the appellant appealed to the court that the amendment that has been made under Article 368 is against Article 13. That means his main argument was amendment also come under the definition of Article 13. Article 13 defines the law. It gives the definition of law. So Shankar Prasad, the appellant in this case, said that the amendment also comes under Article 13. So according to Article 13, any law abridges the fundamental right should be declared as null and void. Okay. But however, in this case, Supreme Court held that the amendment which is made according to the procedure given by Article 368 cannot be considered under the definition of law. Okay. And court held that the Parliament is empowered to amend fundamental rights as well. Okay. So this is the judgment in Shankar Prasad case, right? So in this case, Supreme Court held that Parliament's power of amending the Constitution under the Article 368 included the power to amend the fundamental rights guaranteed in Part 3 as well, right? That means through this judgment, Supreme Court has given free hand to the Parliament to amend the fundamental rights. Okay, right. And in the next case, in 1965, Sajjan Singh case, in this case also, the Supreme Court held that Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution, including the fundamental rights, right? And it is noteworthy to point out that two dissenting judges, that means in this judgment, in a bench of judges, two judges, had given their dissent against the judgment. That means they said that fundamental rights cannot be amended by the Parliament. Right. However, majority of the judges in this case held that Parliament can amend the fundamental rights. Okay. Now the next case is in the process of evaluation of basic structure is Golaknath case. Okay. In Golaknath case, the Supreme Court reversed its earlier stand. What is the meaning of this? We already discussed that Supreme Court has the power to reverse its judgments. Yes or no? We discussed in the chapter called Supreme Court, right? Okay, so in Golaknath case, the Supreme Court reversed its earlier stand. What is its earlier stand? The earlier stand was the Parliament can amend the fundamental rights, right? And the amendment made to the Constitution will not be considered under Article 13. Okay, so this stand was reversed in Golaknath case. Okay, so in that case, the constitutional validity of the 17th Amendment Act, which inserted certain state acts in the 9th schedule, was challenged. Right? I already told you, 9th schedule was inserted in the Constitution by the first Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay. That means the laws which are kept under the 9th schedule cannot be questioned under Article 13 or cannot be reviewed by the judiciary, right? So the Supreme Court ruled that fundamental rights are given a transcendental and immutable position. What is the meaning of transcendental? Transcendental means beyond normal, beyond imaginary. They are ideals, right? So immutable means cannot be changed, right? So in Golaknath case, the Supreme Court held that the Parliament cannot violate or abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights, right? So, okay. And a Constitutional Amendment Act is also a law within the meaning of Article 13 and hence would be void or violating any of the fundamental rights, right? So this judgment was a great shock to the Parliament because this judgment says that Parliament cannot amend any fundamental right which are given to the citizens of India, which are given to the people of India. And also the amendment which is made according to the procedure that is mentioned under Article 368 will also come under the definition of law, which is under Article 13. Okay, and this judgment has become a major hurdle for the implementation of the land reforms, because right to property under Article 31 was a fundamental right, in that period. Yes or no? Right? Okay. So in order to overcome this judgment, in order to implement the land reforms, in order to implement the directive principles of state policy, the Parliament reacted, okay, by enacting 24th Amendment Act 1971. Okay, this act amended Article 13 and Article 368. So dear students, please do remember the 24th Amendment Act in 1971. Okay, so this act amended Article 13 and also Article 368. Okay, so this Amendment Act declared that Parliament has the power to abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights. Okay, and under Article 368, and such an act will not be law under the meaning of Article 13. That means this 24th Amendment Act says that Parliament is empowered to abridge any fundamental right by using Article 368. Okay, and also the laws which are made by following the procedure established in Article 368 will not come under the meaning of Article 13. Okay, that means this 24th Constitutional Amendment Act completely nullifies or negates the judgment that was delivered in Golaknath case. Right? Are you able to understand? In these cases, there is one common thing, that is the conflict between legislature and judiciary. Okay, we will see at the end who will win. Okay, right. So dear students, we'll discuss this Keshavananda Bharati case, which is the part of the evolution of basic structure, in the next video. Thank you.